back to Wizard's Workshop. So today, I wanted to talk about this story. And I'm going to start with the story that I heard years and years ago. The story is of this thing called Indra's net. Now, Indra is a mythological spider god. And Indra creates this web that's going in every direction that you can imagine. And where the fibers of the web come together, wherever they meet, there's a jewel. And it's a jewel that is shined so smooth that it reflects in every direction. And at every point where there is a connection on the web, there's a jewel. And so you can imagine a net filling space with jewels at every intersection of it, reflecting every other jewel on the web. And the story is meant, as mythology goes, the story is meant to unite us, to help us realize that we are us, that we are each other, that what happens to me is a reflection of you, what happens to you is a reflection of me, throughout the world. Now, why I think this story is important is, again, because we have tools, and one of these tools in us is ironically called a mirror neuron. And a mirror neuron does at least two things that I'm aware of. Externally, and I'll just share my experience, when I see somebody fall, my gut wrenches up into my chest. I feel it. I feel the sensation, or a sensation. My body responds to someone falling. Now, how could that be? They're over there, I'm over here, and they didn't touch me, they didn't affect me, but here I am responding. Well, our mirror neurons are taking the similarities. We see a person, and a person is us. We don't differentiate a person as different than us. And so when we see something happen to people or a person, that affects us, that we take it on. And this can be good or bad. It can be bad because we reflect our local environment. If we're not around positive people, then we're likely to reflect a less than positive attitude. We'll pick up mannerisms. A good example is how children reflect postures of their parents, or peers, or dialects. I mean, there's no reason for a dialect except that we hear it and then we begin to mimic it. And so that's us inside of our heads. Now, a way that we can make it better is us. That knowing that your mirror neurons are seeing me, then if I act in a certain way, then those actions are going to reflect in you. And so, and as an individual, if we realize that we are acting on behalf of a planet of people, then maybe we change our actions. Maybe we do something different and better ourselves. How do we make ourselves a valuable commodity, a valuable presence in the world? And we can only do that from the inside. It's not an external. It's what we can do with us. Now, a lot of things I've said, we're leading up to even more kind of and really interesting things, I think. But when I talked about the RAS, the reticular activating system, and I mentioned this thing called the law of attraction, I will tell you a pet peeve of mine. When I saw The Secret, it made me mad. Not because anybody was sharing a secret, but because of the goals that were presented. It was an encouragement to think about the cars and the homes and the money and the wealth and the relationships. And my understanding is that's ego stuff. That's the stuff of our comfort. And we should be comfortable. I want to be comfortable. Don't get me wrong. I want you comfortable. But the focus of what is told as the biggest secret in human history, and here, get yourself stuff, just didn't resonate with me, and it made me mad. I'm no purist. I have stuff. But I want to hear that story of manifestation, of how to bring forth what your mind creates. I want to hear that story based on bettering man's place on this planet, bettering our condition on this planet, not as an individual, but as a people, as a species, worldwide. Because I think if we were a people worldwide, we would be reaching the stars, we would be enjoying life to its fullest, because we worked for each other and we made ourselves better for humanity. And so, when going back, looking at the RAS, that system isn't linguistic, and so it's not hearing our words, it's seeing our pictures, and it's looking for patterns. And so that system is how you would manifest stuff. The mirror neurons will help us to bring about the conditions, our conditions. And we do that by visualizing ourselves. Not ourselves behind the wheels of cars or in houses, but visualize yourself doing the things that are necessary to bring about the results of your actions, which are probably the comforts. And, like I said, I want to be comfortable too. So, when we imagine ourselves doing better things, imagine ourselves in the environment, see yourself, see and visualize your hands doing those things, because those mirror neurons, just like when they see, or they don't see, but they take in the information of an external and process it then through our motor cortex, our visual cortex, our language cortex. We experience those things in here. And so when you visualize, and then you visualize yourself doing a thing, you're also stimulating those same processes. And so your neurology, your internal responses can get habituated towards achieving a goal. There's a story, I'm sure you've heard it. It was based on an experiment with the students playing basketball. And it might have been professionals. It's a story, and we're in the time of the internet. Who really knows? But the story goes that there are two teams, and one team is told to practice. And so they get on the court and they practice. The other team goes into a state of meditation, likely hypnosis, because hypnosis takes us deeper so that we can access our subconscious. And in those deeper states of mind, visualize. And what's neat about visualization is that you visualize yourself succeeding. And so these players were visualizing themselves hitting, making baskets with every shot. And so when they went to play, there was a distinct difference. Those who practiced missed, just as they would usually miss. And even though they practiced physically to get physically better and train the muscles to do the skill, those who visualized tapped into themselves doing the thing, which affected the motor cortex, which is the exact same thing that the players who practiced did. And so both teams were processing through the motor cortex, but those who visualized trained their motor cortex to succeed, and so they did. And so my hope is that you fill the world with you, that you come out. We're in a weird place in our world. I'm no different. The world is really weird right now, and I have nowhere else to go. I'm just a voice in the crowd, and I'm adding it to the wind, hoping it does some good, because we need more good. We need more good. I'm no saint, by far from it, but I have a voice, and I have good intent, and I want to see the world a beautiful place. And the only way to do that is from the inside out. And if we're in our homes, then we don't get to commingle. And so I'm putting myself out here like this, again, just to add my voice to the wind and hope that it helps. So yeah, Indra's net. It's real. Can you imagine that? Indra's net is actually a real thing. So yeah, really old story, really real thing. Thanks for watching. I like talking. So I'm gonna do this again. I've got stuff written down. Later on, I expect to talk about more spiritual things. There's always brain stuff in there because we're brains, but we're spirit too, brothers and sisters. I love you. Be joy. Have a beautiful day, and catch you next time. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.